Hi everyone, myself Arindam and I'm a legal intern at Lexis & Company, and today we'll be discussing on the topic of frame of suits related to the Civil Procedure Code of India. So, frame of suit. So, what is it? Every suit shall be as far as practicable be framed so as to afford grounds for final decision upon the subject in dispute and to prevent further litigations concerning them. Suits include the whole claim. Suits to include the whole claim. Every suit shall include the whole of the claim which the plaintiff is entitled to make in respect of the cause of action, but a plaintiff may relinquish any portion of his claim in order to bring the suits within any of such jurisdiction. Relinquishment of a part of the claim. Where a party omits to sue in respect of or intentionally relinquishes any portion of his claim, he shall not afterwards sue the respect of the portions so omitted or relinquished. Omission for sue for one of several reliefs. A person entitled to more than one relief in respect of the same cause of action may sue for all of or any of such reliefs, but if he omits, except with the leave of the court, to sue for all such reliefs, he shall not afterward sue for any relief so omitted. Now let's come to an illustration. Suppose A lets a house B at a yearly of rent rupees 1200. The rent of the whole year of year 1905, 1906 and 1907 is due and unpaid. A sues B 1908 only for the rent due in 1906. A shall not afterwards sue B for the rent due in 1905 or 1907. Now the state amendments, how did different states respond to this particular topic of discussion? So Uttar Pradesh in the order 2 rule 2 said that the existing explanations shall be numbered as explanation 1, explanation, and after explanation 1 are so numbered, the following explanation 2 shall be inserted as per. For the purpose of this rule, a claim for ejectment of the defendant from immovable property let out to him and a claim for money due from him is account of rent or compensation for use and occupation of the property shall be deemed to be claims in respect of distinct cause of actions. For the illustration, the following illustrations shall be substituted, namely A lets immovable property to B at an early yearly rent. The rent for the whole of the year 1905, 6 and 7 is due and unpaid, and the tenancy is determined before A sues B 1908 only for the rent for 1906. A may afterwards sue B for the ejectment but not for the rent due to 1905 and 7. So the UP Act 5057 of 1976 joined a cause of action. So save as otherwise, this particular section says that save as otherwise provided, a plaintiff may unite in the same suit several cause of actions against the same defendant or the same defendant jointly, and any plaintiff having caused or causes of action in which they are jointly interested against the same defendant or the same defendant jointly unite such case of action in the same suit. Where such cause of action are united, the jurisdiction of the court as regard to the suit shall depend on the amount of or value of the aggregate subject matters at the date of instituting the suits. Now, the fourth point is only certain claims to be joined for recovery of immovable property. No cause of action shall, with the or unless with the leave of the court, be joined with a suit for the recovery of immovable property, except firstly the claim for mean profit or arrears of rent in respect of the property claimed or any part thereof. B. Claims for damages for breach of any contract under which the property or any part thereof is held. And C. Claims in which the relief is sought is based on the same cause of action, provided that nothing in this rule shall be deemed to prevent any party in a suit for foreclosure or redemption from asking to be put into possession of the mortgaged property. Now, the claims by or against executor, administrator or hire. No claim or against any executor, administrator or hire as such shall be joined with claims by or against him personally unless the last mentioned claims are alleged to arise with reference to the estate in respect of which the plaintiff or defendant sues or suit is executed, administered or hired, or such as he was entitled to or liable for jointly with the deceased person when he represents. Now, there are last 2 points: the power of court to separate trials, and the objection as to misjoinder. So these are the last 2 topics. So this was all about frame of suits, and for more such videos on different law related topics, please do subscribe to Lex Tech.